Hello, everybody. I am Michael Carroll, Vice President with Strottner Designs, a boutique inbound marketing design firm right in San Antonio, Texas. We do business across the country, across the state, sometimes across U.S. borders. I'm continuing our series of reflecting on prior blog posts as we engage a little bit more with YouTube marketing. And today, I'm going to bring back one of our favorite posts from a couple years ago. The topic, bringing on new business, what to look out for, what to say no to, and occasionally what to run away from when it's not working out after you've made them a client. So join me as we dive into this post from February 23rd of 2021. Topic, as I said, when should I say no to a prospective client? If you've ever had a customer, you know that the old saying is not true. The customer is not always right. Whether you call them customers, clients, or patients, it's always a tough business decision. Do I bring them on? Do I fire them as clients? It isn't easy to turn away new business or to discontinue working with a current client, but sometimes it must be done. Now, how do you recognize a difficult client before they become a client? Now, I get it. Maybe you've just opened your doors, or you're struggling, it's a tough economy, and you think you have to say yes to everyone, so you overlook red flags. If you overlook red flags, you might be me when it comes to dating. It took us a while to see the signs ourselves, and our business started in the year 2002, so we've been around a while, and we still struggle with this from time to time. Sometimes you are so desperate for a sale that you'll take on anyone, and that is when the trouble starts. All money is not created equal. Here are some guides that you might want to consider and either take a pass on or know what you're getting into when you do it. We call this the burned bridge rule. This prospect has nothing good to say about anybody they've ever worked with. If you're in finance, their previous financial advisor was not just incompetent, but caused them to miss out on Google, Facebook, Tesla. They sold their Amazon stock about 10 years ago, pre-COVID. In the case of a design company like us, whomever they were dealing with before never understood their vision. Or it was even worse than that. They refused to deliver design files, they locked them out of their website, they didn't keep up with Google's algorithm changes, any number of things. It might be true. These things that you hear from them, they may be true once. But if they've had multiple issues and the same story keeps popping up, then there's a decent chance that, this is not a one-off and that is something to be aware of. You are not going to be the person to save them. I promise. So don't try. Move on. There's more business out there. This happened to us once. This rule does apply to prospective employees as well. Definitely check references and look for patterns. If they've had trouble at multiple employers, there's a possibility that it's them. Next, we come to the serial discounter. Now, depending upon your industry, this might not come up very often. We do recommend being aware of prospective clients that immediately ask you about discounts you offer. And, be aware of anybody that pushes too hard against your pricing. You are offering a value and a service of value, and your pricing is set that way for a reason. You're a for-profit company. So when you set your price, stick with it. If you are the way we believe ourselves to be, you are worth it. There are situations where you run into somebody who will say things like, well, if you really want my business, you'll work harder to get it, and you'll drop this price. This happened to me. And my response was simply, thank you for letting me know, and have an excellent day. It's possible we're not the fit for you. As I say in the blog post, I said it with a great deal of charm. I promise. I have heard the saying, we'll discount ourselves right out of business, but make it up in volume. Never take that as your approach. Now we have the deadline destroyer. Everybody has experience with this person. No matter what your industry, you have a maximum capacity. You have as much as you can produce based upon whatever your capabilities are. A manufacturing company can only produce a certain number of units per day, per week, per month. Service company can only handle as many projects as possible. We are the same way. So you must be open and honest with lead times with all of your clients to manage expectations, under promise, over deliver. All of our industry cliches that do turn out to be true. If you have a client that doesn't respect lead times, there are a couple of ways to handle it. One of the best things, I think, is the rush fee, the expedite fee. Eventually, they'll get tired of paying it, and they will get on your schedule. Or they won't, and perhaps they'll move on and work with somebody who they are more able to push around, throw off track, that kind of thing. Now, the one important thing, though, is with all of your clients, if you give them lead times, you got to hit them. And if you have that rush client that you charge an expedited fee, you got to hit that expedited fee as well. And this brings us to one of my favorite charts. There are 3 components: good, cheap, fast. You can only have 2 of these things. If you want it good and cheap, it will not be fast. If you want it fast and good, it absolutely will not be cheap. And if you want it cheap and fast, it definitely won't be good. So keep that in mind. You will have excellent clients. Remember this too. And they will occasionally need things on a rush. For them, don't even consider the rush fee. This is an out of the ordinary situation, and it's something that you should do for them as just in the course of doing good business. It's the unreasonable client that calls you at 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon and says they need it for tomorrow, a print deadline. This doesn't work. This isn't how quickly things get done. One thing we have noticed, deadline destroyers and serial discounters are often the same person or same client. Beware, because that will make you absolutely crazy. When I wrote this post, we did have a new addition, the backseat driver, or as I like to call them, Dr. Google MD. We all know this client. They come to you for your expertise, but somehow they do know more than you. Maybe they have a family member in your industry. Maybe their uncle's cousin's former high school roommate or college roommate is also in your industry, and they talk to them at a cocktail party or a barbecue. You never know. And because of this, they are going to second guess everything that you do, and because they're convinced that they know more. Or they've done a little bit of Google research, and as I like to joke, they've got a Martian influenza type Zebulon. And nothing a doctor can say can talk them out of it. Now, we can learn a lot online, but one of the things that people come to us for, is our expertise and our judgment based upon our 20 years of experience. Remember that, and keep that in mind before you bring on somebody that gives you signs of being backseat driver or a Dr. Google. One of my least favorites, the time burglar. This first came up when I was in the finance industry. People will just take your time, they will distract you, they will pull you off task, and they won't think twice about it. As we all know, time is non-renewable. That's why the more efficient you can be, the more productive you can be, and the more work that you can get done for your non-burgling clients. Because opportunity cost is a real thing, you want to pay very close attention to who these time burglars just might be. Remember, they don't order anything, they don't refer you anything, they don't buy anything from you, which means you may just have a broke friend that brings almost no value. I'm not going to speculate on your friendship, but I will tell you that this does not make a good. Now, how do you get out of working with these different types of clients? Truth is, you may wind up working with them anyway. Sometimes we do that because we need to. Sometimes there are other reasons that make it more compelling. But if you want to avoid a project, be diplomatic. You never know if somebody might circle back with a refreshed attitude. And there's no reason to create an incident where none exists. And obviously, you don't want to end up with a bad review for some reason. We have seen a lot of people take revenge through Yelp reviews, Google reviews, and things like that. So in the case of a bridge burner, maybe tell them project is outside of your firm's skill set, and they will be more comfortable with a firm that matches their needs better. Also, ideally this is true, and if you can recommend a firm that can do it for them better than you think you can, that's helpful. This will also work for your backseat driver. The cure for the serial discounter is simple. Don't compromise your pricing. Stick with your pricing. They'll either pay it or they'll move on. And one thing I didn't mention before is, for whatever reason, the more significant a discount somebody receives, the more maintenance they seem to require. So your high maintenance client and your client that doesn't like to pay you your value, often the same person. Try to recognize them when they're a prospect and avoid the trouble. As I mentioned before, deadline destroyers set the tone of the first project, explain the expedite fee, the rush fee, and then make sure you hit all the deadlines, and ideally they will start to get on your schedule. Be clear about your normal lead times, not your expedited lead times, and that should help you in the future with them. Or they'll move on to another firm as well. Now, time burglars often will show you this before they become clients. You want to consider whether or not you bring them on. This is somebody who takes you. If a sales funnel takes you 3 weeks normally, you're 3 months down the road with these folks, and you always feel like the promise of something coming, but never the reality. So bear that in mind anytime you're dealing with those folks. So this is one of our favorite topics. It's one we come back to from time to time. I hope you've enjoyed casual read of it with some commentary. Please take some time to leave some comments if you like it. Send me an email, and we'll have some more details for you in the show notes. I want to thank everybody for sticking through, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.